Hey everyone, and welcome. Do you ever get that feeling that maybe your best learning days are, well, behind you? Today, we are going to completely challenge that idea. We're going to explore the absolutely incredible science of your brain and find out how it's literally built to learn something new every single day for your entire life.
So let's just jump right in with the big question. One I think a lot of us have wondered about. Once you hit adulthood, is that it? Is your brain's capacity to learn pretty much fixed? Set in stone?
For the longest time, the scientific world basically said, yeah, pretty much. But, and this is the really exciting part, modern science has completely overturned that old myth. The truth is, your brain is unbelievably dynamic. It has this remarkable ability to change and adapt every single day.
Ready to see how? Here's our game plan. First, we're going to bust that myth of the static brain for good. Then, we'll take a peek under the hood to see how your brain actually rewires itself. After that, we'll talk about building a kind of cognitive bank account for your future. Then we'll get into some simple strategies to learn smarter, not harder. And finally, we'll cover the essentials for fueling this incredible learning engine.
Okay, let's start with the big one, the idea that changes everything, your ever-changing brain. Seriously, once you grasp this concept, everything else we're about to talk about just clicks into place.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The old school thinking was that your brain did all its major development when you were a kid, and then it was done. We now know that's just flat out wrong. Your adult brain isn't rigid, it's much more like clay, constantly being reshaped by everything you do and learn. And the scientific name for this incredible ability is neuroplasticity. This is the engine that drives all of your personal growth. Just think about that for a second. Every single time you learn something new, whether it's a new language, a new recipe, or even just a new word, you are physically and functionally changing your brain. How cool is that?
So we know the brain can change, but how does this rewiring actually happen? What's going on in there? Let's take that look under the hood and explore the two main ways your brain adapts when you're learning.
This is so fascinating. On one side, you've got structural plasticity. The best analogy is upgrading your computer's hardware. You're actually adding new parts, new connections. Then on the other side, you have functional plasticity. This is more like a software update, making the programs you already have run way faster and more efficiently. Your brain is doing both all the time.
And these changes aren't just abstract ideas. They are real, physical construction projects. When you learn, your brain is creating brand new connections between neurons. That's synaptogenesis. In certain key areas, you can even grow entirely new brain cells through what's called adult neurogenesis. And all the while, your existing connections are being tweaked and remodeled to work better. It's literally construction work inside your head.
So, what's the long-term benefit of all this mental construction? Well, it's all about building a protective buffer for your future. Think of every new thing you learn as a deposit into a cognitive bank account. Scientists have a name for this, your cognitive reserve.
And here's the crucial thing to understand about cognitive reserve. It's not about having a bigger or healthier brain, necessarily. It's about having a more efficient and flexible one. This adaptability, this nimbleness, is what allows some people to stay sharp and witty even when their brain might show physical signs of aging. This table lays out the difference perfectly. Brain reserve is your raw hardware, the physical brain you were born with. But cognitive reserve, that's all about what you do with that hardware. It's built through active things like education, having a mentally stimulating job, or even just picking up new hobbies. It's the software you're constantly upgrading through learning. And the real-world impact of this is just wow. It's huge. Studies show that actively building your cognitive reserve at any point in your life significantly lowers your risk of dementia. And just look at this chart. The protective effect is strong in early life, and look at that. It's just as strong, even slightly stronger in late life. This proves it is never too early, and it is absolutely never too late to invest in your cognitive bank account.
Okay, so this brings us to the really practical part. If we want to build this reserve, how do we actually do it most effectively? Well, it turns out that to really take advantage of neuroplasticity, it's not about learning harder, it's all about learning smarter.
Think back to how you studied in school. I bet for a lot of us it was just rereading our notes over and over, maybe highlighting a few things. It feels like you're being productive, right? But the science is crystal clear. Those are really inefficient habits. To make memories that actually stick, you have to get active.
So the first powerhouse strategy is called active recall. This completely flips the script on learning. Instead of just passively putting information in by rereading, you have to actively pull the information out of your brain.
Things like flashcards, practice tests, or even just trying to explain a concept to someone else. Every single time you retrieve a memory, you make that neural pathway stronger.
Next up is its perfect partner, spaced repetition. Believe it or not, our brains are designed to forget things to save space. This technique works with that natural tendency. By reviewing information right around the time you're about to forget it, you send a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, this is actually important. Keep it. It helps build much stronger, more durable memories.
And here's a rough idea of what that could look like. Instead of cramming for 5 hours straight, you review the material the next day. Then you wait maybe a week, then maybe 16 days, and so on. This strategic spacing is just infinitely more powerful for long-term knowledge than cramming.
And these aren't the only tools you have. This table shows a couple more heavy hitters. There's interleaving, which is basically mixing up different but related topics while you study. It forces your brain to work harder to see the connections. And dual coding, using both words and visuals. That gives your brain two different ways to store the same info, basically doubling your chances of remembering it. All right, last but certainly not least, none of these amazing learning strategies can work if the engine itself isn't running well. To make learning a true, sustainable, lifelong habit, we have to support the very organ that's doing all this heavy lifting, our brain. Really, it comes down to these three pillars. You can think of the learning strategies as your workout plan, but quality sleep, good nutrition, and physical activity, that's the fuel. Sleep is when your brain actually consolidates new memories. Healthy food provides the literal building blocks for those new neural connections. And exercise? Well, it boosts blood flow and growth factors that are absolutely essential for neuroplasticity. So when you pull it all together, you realize something pretty profound. Learning isn't just a hobby. It's not just something you did back in school. It is a fundamental biological imperative for keeping your mind dynamic, resilient, and adaptable for your entire life.
And that leaves us with one final question, a little call to action for your brain, starting right now. What new thing will you learn today to make a deposit in your cognitive reserve?